He's getting more and more into me.
Oh shit!
Are we on time?
Yeah.
Nope, we're a minute late. Perfect. There's something trying to eat my feet right now.
Eat your feet.
Yeah, it
Ugh.
looks like a grumble pig.
Well, you know what you should do? I'm Gizz Lazlo.
I'm just Paul.
And here we are, episode 34.
34
34
for this year.
this year.
644 last year. Who's our sponsor this time?
Oh, you want to already go there?
No, the other one.
Well, first of all, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Do Podcast, DUPODXAST. And we're on every Monday at 7 o'clock here on YouTube. And we got to thank our new sponsor, Poop Like a Champion Cereal. And our other sponsors.
Yes, sell those cool people.
Headline Records, friends, and Transplants Brewing in Palmdale, MEOWZ in Pasadena, RIOT Manufacturing in Las Vegas, Licorice Pizza right here in our backyard, the Tattoo Room in Simi Valley, Almost Famous Magazine, and the
screaming Dodger fans in the room.
Yeah, well, I hope they're screaming for a good
my
reason.
office door, please. Yeah, that's Jake's face. Head.
And well, let's go with how was your week?
Scary.
Yeah,
it's really dead out there according to me. Learning stuff about social media and how much that's important, and how 20-somethings don't like 50-somethings.
No.
So there's not a lot of business going on. So if anybody needs a house cleaner, Gizz is available. I get half of
only on
everything he
Tuesdays and
makes
Thursdays.
at Topless for sure. Nobody wants to see that. How'd you do?
I had a really good week. Celebrated Doctor Strange's 37th anniversary. He threw 4 really good shows, bangers. We were lucky enough to play Thursday night at the Sardine with Rhythm Collision and whatever, and Houseboy, and not Houseboy. I can't remember who. Oh, the Heart Race.
Oh,
and it was a great show. Had a lot of fun. Friday they had the big party at the Glass House with the Rattlescents, and I heard that was a really good show. I decided to stay home and watch the game and be depressed.
Yeah.
And then Saturday we played at Doctor Strange, the record store, and that was great.
Yeah.
It started at 1 o'clock. I was drunk by 1:15.
Why am I not surprised?
Bill, Doctor Strange, he just had everything waiting for us. So like tons of beer and
all the important things.
Yeah.
No drumsticks, but plenty of beer.
Yeah. And again, it was a banger of a show. And then yesterday they had or Sunday they had Agnostic Front in the Freeze.
Oh, no
in Temecula.
shit.
Yeah. So I heard that was a really good show too.
I bet.
And
tied it
up. Again, I mean, congratulations, 37 years. I mean, Doctor Strange, I've known him for 30 years since the Lazlo days at Munchies. That's where I met him, and
wow, that was a callback.
And always been really cool to us, and all the bands, and it's actually kind of coincidental that our guest tonight was part of that whole scene too.
I know,
and we'll get to that soon, but yeah, it was a great weekend, and Saturday's show, it was it was a reunion. There were so many people there that I hadn't seen in years, and it was just everybody together in one place, and it was a party. It wasn't a show, it was a party, and
like Kumbaya circle of punk rock.
Yeah. And people were bringing their kids. The bass player for the Bull Weevils flew out from Chicago, and his baby, it was still a baby.
Oh my God.
You know,
Just bouncing him off the snare drum.
Yeah, I think he was a backup singer, and but it was really cool, man. I had a lot of fun, and you know, again, it's all the stories you hear and everything. So yeah, I want to get to the interview, so let's go through the birthdays real quick. I want to wish Garrett Barnwell, a really good friend of mine. He works at Razor Cake, and I met him in Florida back in '98. Really cool guy. Lives out here now. Josh Stamps, his birthday was yesterday. Let's see here. Ooh.
Reading, not the strong point.
Nikki from that was 3 days ago, but from Crash Karma.
Oh, hi,
Her
Nikki.
birthday. Let's see here. Man, so many people. John Baker this week from 900 Pound Gorilla. His birthday. And Ricky Sherman. He was in Fair Game.
I thought you were going to say Ricky Schroeder.
Jay Smith from the Dorita Sisters. Big Rob from Southpaw. His birthday's on Sunday.
Cool. Hey, Rob.
And Giaffafa, your birthday's coming up, huh?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's gonna turn 16. My little boy's growing up.
Oh, you share the same day as Jaden Nothington.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so well, that's pretty much it for this week.
And I don't think anybody died, right?
Probably, but
I mean, somebody did. I know that.
But I don't think
I don't think
anybody we knew. So
yeah, I know that. But
so that's a lucky break, a lucky break.
You're dead inside.
But back to Doctor Strange. Back in I think 1991 is when Gameface signed to. Well, we'll get you in, but I believe it was around there, early 90s when
5, 6, 7.
So
it's a meal.
But our guest is the guitar player for Gameface and a new band called Sleep Pod 2, which we share a drummer. And
they rip.
Everybody that knows him as TD, except for his really good friends.
No.
We know him as Todd Trout. So let's get him in. And,
come on, buddy.
Have some fun. Yay! How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
A good start off with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So
that's really coincidental because we didn't set it up to have you because of Doctor Strange weekend, but here you are.
Yeah, I was gonna say Doctor Strange, Bill, great guy for punk rock. I'm saying huge heart.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't know where we want to start, but we should definitely.
We'll just start with whatever. It's loose.
So thanks for having me. Like I said, it's amazing how music brings us all together.
Yeah.
And how we're all connected. And I know you can't see Jeff off camera, but
Jeff off.
He was at a Gameface show in '95 or something like that in Minneapolis, right? And
Foxfire.
I was gonna say through that. It's amazing. Years later, we're now super close friends, and just based off of just music, and and that leads me to you. That leads me to you and Waleed.
Yeah.
So hey, Waleed, if you're
he watches on Tuesdays.
Okay, but just
only the Spanish simulcast though.
I mean, co-ed was like I loved co-ed back in the '90s, and for those you don't know, Waleed plays all instruments and drums are his like worst instrument that he says, and yet he's a drummer in like 7 bands.
It's because he can poop like a champion.
So I was gonna say, he definitely musical genius. So I really enjoy like the songwriting with Waleed and Sleep Pod 2. So but yes, I've been in Gameface since 1990. We started. I don't know, I've been to 23 different countries through that. So that's been amazing. All the tours. For people who aren't familiar with the backstory, I guess our first drummer, Bob, had addiction issues, and I know we want to kind of keep it light, but I think we also need to tell the importance, I think, of music. But he had addiction issues and ended up taking his own life, like in a horrific way. Like lit himself on fire, and
Ugh.
We don't have to get any more details than that, but that
Yeah,
tells
no.
you just how, awful of a situation. So I think for us and, the guys in Gameface with, Jeff and Paul at the time, being in our early 20s, trying to navigate through that kind of stuff we didn't know how,
No.
and mental health wasn't being discussed back then.
No, there's no
Right.
answer for that anyways.
I mean, not compared to today, how there's so many resources, at the time. So that really led to, we had one album out called Good, which was on a label called Network Sound. And then after Bob, ended up passing away, we weren't sure what we were going to do. And Bill wrote us a letter, and it was like a letter of support, but also, hey, I don't know what your plans are, but if you are interested in, if you guys are going to continue forward, I'd love to be a part of that, however that looks.
No, that's
Which
cool.
I'm saying, yeah, like how many, that was all class, but shows his big heart. And so we ended up doing 3 to Get Ready with him. And what I want to say, at the time, it wasn't much money. So I had said, hey, I really need to upgrade to like, a full Marshall, 100-watt amp. So I was playing out of some, smaller amp. And I think I was playing originally out of a Roland Jazz Chorus with a with a rat pedal. Remember the pink crunchy,
And this is before they had good house sound like they have now. You could play through a 110 now and be fine.
Right. So it was, especially back then, like the 50-watt amps weren't cutting it for, what we were trying to do. So Bill gave me like an advance, and I bought the Marshall JCM 900, which I still play out of in the cabinet. And I remember I was like, hey, it's time for me to kind of pay him back. And he was like, hey, my pleasure. Which I was like, dude, like, how much money is punk rock making?
$11.
Right. I'm just saying, like, obviously Bill's been very successful having Dr. Strange for 37 years. But my point is, it's not like he just got money to pass around, and he was. So to this day, it's like, God, he's so good. So so Bill, if you're watching, cheers to 37 years. It is amazing what you've done.
He watches on Wednesdays.
And how he brings everyone together.
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, it's and there's like this eclectic mix of bands that he supports. It's not just a singular sound. So, very
and
cool.
everybody that he'd helped, and everyone that he turned on to punk rock was there Saturday, which was weird. There were people who flew in from the Midwest, from back east, just to be a part of the show. It wasn't just the bands.
Yeah.
It was just regular people who are fans.
So that was, I'm just saying that was a really good thing. And, then Gameface, like that album 3 to Get Ready was, all about just kind of our early 20s and navigating those situations. Jeff and I just did like an interview, and we were talking about like Green Tree, the song Green Tree is Jeff, he's young adult, moved out, but the place he was living in, didn't have a kitchen, hence the line, I make my lunch in the bathroom. I mean, but like this tiny place, and trying to find, he'd go by the house that he grew up in, and just, that kind of awkward age. You're not a kid anymore, but you're not this fully established adult.
Right.
So that album really kind of dealt with a lot of, like just the Bob, tragedy, and then other things. And for me personally, I was going to say, I don't know how deep we want to go, but that was kind of brought me to youth development that I've worked in the last 30 plus years, like with Boys and Girls Clubs, and just trying to work with teens, and hey, don't end up like my friend Bob, and really be a mentor. Because I think had Bob, if he had someone in his life that he could, look up to, or have, help guide us. And we've all been through tragedies. We've all made a ton of fucking mistakes in our lives, or at least I have. And so trying to be a mentor to so many teens over the years is like, hey, I don't want you making the same mistakes I've made, or that my friends have made. And and isn't that kind of what punk rock is about too? Like supporting each other.
It's like it's kind of the connective tissue for mental health for us, I think. I know we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago. Like, none of us, well, maybe you did, but I didn't grow up in a really great home. I was out at 16. We had a kind of a rougher life, and that's kind of how we found this. And so the music becomes that connective tissue that we all become a family through. And that becomes your support system after a while. And sometimes that support system isn't really good for you, but also it's still a support system.
I think the punk rock in the hardcore scene, because I there's bands that like I listen to, you know, a million times, you know, Youth of Today, stuff like that, just, you know, all about kind of support, you know, and not having to, I mean, just again, I was never a scene head, but the scene in general, really, to be able to find people that like, I mean, like Jeff said, what brought us all together, this group right here, Big Drill Car.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, so
hey guys,
having that scene to get to meet all these people, especially, I think we're all the similar age. You know, I'm 54, but you know, back in 1990, 91, like no one was listening to these, like who's 7 Seconds, Descendants, like, but when we meet people like, we're sitting here, dude, it just brought in this whole world, and to your point, kind of support on these deep friendships.
And again, sometimes it's not always the most healthy thing, because we get some bad habits, like Gizz. He's just a bad habit. But yeah, it is. I believe that there's something that goes through that. And I think it's for all music, but I think punk rock is a little bit more like, I mean, what's the Suburbia? It's a really good example of how that looks. Yeah. You know, you don't waste a good sleeve. I'll show you how to do this.
That's where you learn that.
Yep.
I'm just saying that's the power of music that has brought, for me personally, support. You know, and we all, and I'm assuming even, you know, everyone listening and stuff, there's all these moments, whether they're once or twice or multiple, just of heavy times in life. I mean, it's life, right? So much awesome stuff in life, but also on the flip side, there's so much heavy times. And I think we all have that certain album, that certain song, that certain band, or that show that you went to that really pulls you out of those times.
You can revisit that through that music. I mean, it still exists.
I know we were talking before how you said art is so powerful.
I mean, Big Drill Car, when they released In Green Fields on KDOC request video, that was the last time I lived at home over that song.
And you can remember,
beating the piss out of my stepdad.
I'm saying when you listen to that song, So I was like, maybe we can get you another song, a better memory. You know?
No, I love that song. I mean, it's just, it was also the start of a different kind of freedom for me. So it was a bad ending, but a good beginning for something else. And so I think that's kind of what we all do. And I think, you know, again, the mental, especially as we get older, I think the ideas of, like, you know, calling an old therapist and asking a question, it's not another question anymore. It's like, hey, you can do that. And you're not going to seem like some weakling, because in high school, when people tease each other, you know, it's pretty brutal.
And that's the progression over the years. Just
maturation.
You know, I'm just saying, we didn't have any type of diagnosis of, you know, ADHD. I mean, stuff like that, you know. You know, so I think, again, to your point, music, and there's memories you have in your life, you know. And I was gonna say Big Drill Car. So Gameface, when we first started, we were highly influenced by Big Drill Car. I mean, big time. Our first 7-inch. I mean, I remember people saying, "You guys are Big Drill Car ripoff," and I was like, you're saying like a negative. I was like, thank you. Like,
we're Little Drill Car.
And then, you know, and isn't that how a lot of bands start with, you know, you want to be this influence, you know, you have, sorry, I'm forgetting one of the, I don't know why I'm forgetting this band, but one of the huge bands now, but they said Revelation turned us down and wouldn't sign us because they said you sound too much like Gameface. So I thought that was a really cool.
That's a great compliment.
That was really cool, you know, compliment. So I think, you know, starting bands, you have sounds that you want to try and obtain. And
Mick Jagger actually said of Steven Tyler, flattery is the most, imitation is the most flattering. What was that? Shit, I can't remember the quote.
Well, I've always heard, if it's good, you borrow it. The sound, if it's great, you steal that sound. You know, and that's not a negative, and not something to be looked down on. You know,
but also another thing about punk rock that I've, you know, said many times is that a lot of people say don't meet your heroes, but in punk rock, even your heroes, at least in my experience, every hero that I had growing up and I've met are my friends now. You know, and because it's not about the ego, it's not about the money, it's not about the success, it's just about the music. You know, just putting out good songs, you know. And you guys just dude, banger after banger after banger. Like, dude, can you guys write a shitty song?
Yeah.
Well, we can help.
So on Gameface's last album, you know, Now's What Matters Now, Frank Daly comes in and sings on 2 songs, which was a thrill. You know, we had John Bunch, God rest his soul, come in and sing, you know, on a song. So I was friends with John, but I had never really met Frank. And so I remember we're in the studio and everyone's sitting, and I'm sitting with the producer, like, you know, way on the other side. And it's this Red Bull studio, so I mean, huge studio. And he says, "Why aren't you over there, like, hanging out with them?" And I said, "I don't want to meet like one of my heroes. What if he ends up being, you know, a-hole?" And then we ended up talking. Awesome guy, like, super great guy. But to your point, I was like that. Also, I got to meet Tom Petty once.
No way.
You know, and I got my Tom Petty tribute tattoo.
Oh, man.
One of my favorites.
So you're an American
I don't
girl.
like classic rock, but I love Tom Petty. I know it's something I think the Gameface guys always give me a hard time that I don't like classic rock, but I like Tom Petty. So I used to live right around the corner from KLOS, and he was on at like 10 to midnight, I think, with Jim Ladd, you know, the last DJ. And I was like, screw it, I'm gonna go wait outside, you know. And it wasn't a good neighborhood I was living in. But he and Gameface covered Change of Heart, you know, it's on the What's Up Bro EP. And so I went and I waited, and there was like 3 other people on the street corner like waiting. I was like, all right. So he comes out and he stops. He's in a minivan, and he's in this full like velvet,
of course, like,
he red,
is.
A total pimp suit, huge hat. and he gets out and he's like talks to all 4 of us. And he was so cool, and he's signing autographs for them. And I brought a Gameface CD, and I was like, here, and he starts signing. I said, that's for you. And he's all to his driver, hey man, we got some tunes. Now I'm kind of like, damn, I wish I would have let him sign it, taken the CD back,
and then give another one.
But like that was something that was such a cool like moment for me. Like Tom, he was so gracious, and you know, it's midnight. He doesn't, you know, have to. And I guess one other thing I'll share, because every year I kind of make a little post on this. When I was in 8th grade, I went to Irvine Meadows, which no longer exists. Right. And I saw General Public.
Oh my God.
And I loved English Beat, and I loved General Public. And I'm in 8th grade. It's my 2nd concert ever. Billy Idol was my first. Yes. So my friend and I wish he would watch. You know, it's like, oh, the concert's that, you know, starts at 8. We better get there like at 6. You know, and this is way back. You know, obviously I'm in junior high, so it's 83 probably. So, you know, and they let us in, and we're sitting there, and there's no one in here. You know, we're thinking, oh my God, we can't be late, you know, not knowing how it really works. Yeah. And Rankin Roger, you know, with his first rock side, he walks by, and we're like, hey, Rankin Roger. And he's all, hey, what's up, guys? And he came over. Oh my God. He could have just said, hey, he could have not even acknowledged us. He could have just said, hey, what's up? And kept walking. He comes over, and he's like, hey, you know, how are you guys? And I remember I didn't know. I was like, how do you think the concert's gonna go? You know, the concert. And he was like, oh, pretty good. But he says, so what? You know, what are your favorite songs? And he talked to us for like 5 minutes. And to this day, I was like, that dude really showed me like what a rock star is. Yeah. Because these are 2 dorky 8th grade kids. I mean, I mean, yeah. To your point, word vomit. You know, because here we're with our, you know, hero. Mm-hmm. And he ended up leaving, and like every year on his, you know, anniversary of his passing, it's like I like to share that story, because that really shows like a true rock star, like that guy. Mm-hmm. And I remember when he left, my friend high-fived me so hard that I got hurt. But I mean, just because we were like, wow, and it really shows. Like I said, we were nobody, we were kids, and he just came over, and hey, I mean, how classy. So and that's kind of how I met Gizz. It's the same thing. He took the time to talk to me, and you know, that level of class doesn't always exist everywhere. Like, you know, there's other maybe like Axl Rosy types that would be like, fuck you. You know, all of Motley Crue. Well, Jeff, was I like that when we, you know, at the Gameface show in Minneapolis? You hit him in the face with poop.
No. Well, every time I tried to meet you, you've been like that. And I finally today, you know.
If I can jump in for 1 second.
No.
That fan that came up and was like, remember
the gibberish? Yeah.
And he's like, I used to sing this song in my bedroom all the time. And Jeff was like, you want to sing it? We'll play it again.
So at that,
he just played it again, and this kid sung it, and he nailed it.
So this guy showed up halfway through the show, and this is one of those distinct moments. I remember, like to your point, in the power of music. And this guy said, play gibberish, and just like, bro, we've already played. Like, where have you been? You know, like, kind of not condescending, but kind of like poking
Did that.
at him. And he says, well, I had to drive like 2.5 hours and I just got here. And we're like, oh, and then Jeff's like, hey, we'll play again for you, but you have to come up and sing it. And the guy, which is crazy, right? Like when you think about what a disaster could have been.
Yeah.
There's this really big dude. He's all, and he just got there and killed it. And we had the best, like, that was an awesome.
And that young man was Neil Diamond.
Yeah, are you still in contact with him?
No, and I mean, this
That was
so
a
long
one-off?
ago.
Yes,
Yeah,
bro.
you're right. This is in the mid-90s.
Yeah, no cell phones.
Every last tour.
And that young man was Neil Diamond.
So, and I just got, I was going to say, my friend Forrest, who writes for Dying Scene, he was one of my original teens at the Boys and Girls Club back in the mid-90s, and we've reconnected. And I mean, he's doing all this stuff for like awesome articles and, you know, interviews with bands. And so that's been like a pleasure. So Forrest, I don't know if you're watching, but like, I mean, it's been a pleasure kind of
Rekindling
deepening our friendship.
reconnecting.
From when he was like this, you know, 8th grade kid to now he's full adult, and I'm just saying super cool. So, and again, Power of Music, he is involved in all this stuff, and he just did the 30-year interview for Gameface. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
That's interesting because I remember back in 1995, Bad Town Boys played international skateboard championships in Münster, Germany. There was this little kid, and his face was all scarred up. And him and his father walked up, and my immediate thought was like, "Oh man, this kid's got it rough at home." And the kid didn't speak English, and the dad comes over. Oh no, he's a skateboarder, and he fell, you know. And I was like, "Oh." So I told him, "Hey, come back here, you know, pick a shirt, you know, and pick another shirt. Yeah, here's our CDs." And 2011, that was 95. 2011, I'm on tour in Europe with the Freeze. And after our show, I just wanted to get away from the band.
right.
So I just
Because of
walked.
Cliff's feet.
Bands are like marriages.
Yeah.
Man,
They're like
marriage.
they're
They are.
Mormon marriages because
Yeah.
there's more than one wife,
Yeah.
you know. But I went to this local bar and I just sat there, and this kid sat next to me, and he just kept kind of looking at me, and he goes, "I don't know if you remember me, but I was a kid and I had the scar on my face." I'm all, "Oh wow." He goes, "Do you remember me?" And I go, "Yes." So we started talking. He goes, "Do you mind if I call my father?"
Wow.
So he used the bar phone, called his father. His father came down, and we drank for, I don't know, 4 hours, you know, wine and beers. But that, you know,
You never
because
forgot that kindness,
I was, you know, like, hey, you know, and your money's no good. I don't want your money. Here, just, you know, you fell.
You suck at skateboarding, but here.
So I think that's we were kind of talking about this earlier, just how, you know, like I spent more than 30 years in youth development, you know, try and make an impact and be a mentor. But our music, how impactful,
Yeah.
you know, what is our goal? I mean, even if you're singing about chocolate cake, you know, or you're singing about addiction issues, I mean, we still want our music to count. And I think, so I'm super proud of that for like Gameface, just all the stuff. We'll get to Sleep Pod 2 in a minute, but if I could share, I have this really dear friend, Jeremy, came up to me at the show, I think it was 2012. Big dude, I mean, full tats, just like stud. He says, "Hey, I'd like to introduce myself." And so he starts telling me this story that I wasn't ready for. I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. Where's this going?" But he said, "You know, I was in the military, and you know, I was over in Iraq, and they'd only let us bring a few, like, you know, out, like CDs and possessions." And he said, "I brought 3 to get ready." And he said, "You know, I have to go on patrol." And we go out, and, you know, people are trying to, you know, kill us and shoot us, and we're shooting back. And, you know, he said, sometimes we're killing people. And I was thinking, where is this going?
Not ready.
Yeah. And he says, and as soon as I was off duty, I'd run back to my, you know, barracks, and I'd put on 3 to get ready. And I would say, "This is not who I am. Like, this is not who I am. I'm not going to lose who I am." And then I'm thinking, well, like,
Now this responsibility.
like, guys, Gameface, you might want to come over here and meet Jeremy. and to this day, we're super close. He runs a jiu-jitsu academy in New Jersey. I think it's called Freedom Jiu-Jitsu.
Cool.
And it's a ton of kids that have been bullied. I mean, he's just rad, like, kindest heart, but just, and I think he does the UFC fights too. Like, so he's a total stud. So whenever we're out playing shows outside of California, and Jeremy always comes and meets up. And so my wife, Luz. Hey,
Hi, Luz.
This is Luz right here. I was going to say, when she was in
She's
her
awesome.
Britney Spears stage when she was 18.
6 weeks ago.
Self-admittedly, she's like, that was my Britney. But she's like, don't be out. And what time's the show go to? We're always out till what, 2, 3 a.m. I mean, it's just that's the tour life, right? And I'd be like, well, I'm with Jeremy, and she's like, oh, great, good night. I'm great.
You're safe.
And last year,
You're gonna have great sex.
Last year, Gameface went to Fest, in Gainesville, and I was recovering from surgery, so my son Mateo went, and carried all my, my guitars, all my shit, and I literally when we did rehearsal and I slept, I was on all these painkillers still and stuff, so I just said, hey Mateo, like I'm gonna be asleep the whole weekend, but just stay with Jeremy. And it was great. Like the Gameface guys, they took out, my 19-year-old son, and he's like, I had the best freaking weekend. And I slept, the whole, because I wasn't
I know how you feel.
Yeah.
But it was such a kind of back to our point of music and the power, this joyous moment for me after 16, it's been 16 months of just recovery from my health, and I'm still not there. I'm much better, but that was awesome. So
you got another 2 years.
So kind of, and I don't doubt it, but that was kind of my point on that kid who then became an adult, met you 10 years later. What an impact your kindness, but your music has made probably on him. I got Jeremy, this guy that would just whoop up all of us.
I don't know. I can take him.
No, but he's like got this huge heart, and just like his story. And then there's just all these people, these songs and relationships. And, the last record Gameface did, Now Is What Matters Now, is, after the passing of Jeff's father, and Jeff just wrote these songs. I mean, like the song Frames, if you guys listen to it, it's like, my wife, her dad passed away. She's like, I love that song, but I can't listen to it because it's just, it's just so deep, so, so anyways, I'm just saying, I'm proud of this stuff. Gameface, we're actually in the studio right now doing new stuff, which I believe is going to be October, probably 2026 release. So super stoked on that. We're with Jim Monroe of the Monroe Doctor and Farside album. So he's producing it. So it's been great. And I think I've been a really good recipient of like Jeff and all his songwriting, and he's the major driving force. But I will say, when Steve joined the band, after we had Phil play on 3 already, Steve really kind of changed our trajectory to really deeper songwriting with his rock drums versus kind of just super, double time, which I love. But I'm saying that Steve really opened up, and Jeff started playing guitar, and that's, Every Last Time, all the albums after that just really deepened, in my opinion, as far as the musical progression, which to this day I think I benefited from now. So, so I have Sleep Pod 2. With some really good guys.
I actually wanted to go backwards real
okay.
quick. So so 83, you're in 8th grade, you go see General Public, which is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
What kind of got you there? What was obviously you're a K-Rock kid.
Actually, I wasn't really a K-Rock kid. Interesting. I was a Van Halen kid.
Oh yeah.
And like Black Flag was like my first, Jealous Again was my first punk record, but Cheap Trick was like a huge, Cheap Trick was I got Cheap Trick live at Budokan.
Nice.
My brother came home and said, I bought you 2 albums. So my first 2 albums minus my Sean Cassidy album, which I got like 3rd grade. But yes, was Cheap Trick live at Budokan, and then The Hobbit.
I have that
on record, which I wish I still had. Yes. So very, so that was my instant, influence.
Right.
When I met Jeff in junior high, and he also loved Cheap Trick, but he was like a total metal kid. So we kind of switched some albums, and then I, like Maiden and, Rat, and, so then I became like this hair band glam guy.
Oh God.
Freaking loved it. I still do this.
And you were 6'4" when you were born, right?
No, I've been the same height since junior high. So I thought, wow, I'm going to be huge. And no, and I'm a Steph, I know we don't talk sports, but Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors, I'm his height. So if you see, he's tiny out there, which shows you how big
those guys are.
Guys really are, because I'm not small. But
so that's above the waist.
So what got me there was I love the English beat and the General Public, and I liked a bunch of like 80s some Christian bands like 441. If you look them up, they're kind of new wavy.
Altar Boys, Undercover.
I'm just saying. Undercover. Loved Undercover.
Crucified.
I have a Crucified tattoo.
No way.
Oh my God! Here we go. Where the bromance has begun.
So I like, a lot of, I guess, skate rock type.
Oh,
bands,
yeah.
which then led again to the Descendants, to 7 Seconds.
Yeah.
And I love 7 Seconds, but New Wind was like my jam. Like that really was. And I know that was like people like, Uniform Choice. Love Uniform Choice, but I love Staring Into the Sun, which kind of was their rock progression.
Unity.
Unity, Descendants, all these bands, and Gameface. Again, I was into a lot of hardcore too. Verbal Assault was my first show. And a year ago at the Garden Amp when Gameface played, but I had surgery, so I wasn't there. They filmed like a little thing. Hey man, hope you feel better. And to your point,
way.
I'm now the skateboard kid going, holy shit. Verbal Assault sent me this thing, and it really made this dude. Like I love Verbal Assault, and now, I hope I get to hang out with them. I hope we get to play with them again. But that was, so Verbal Assault, rad band. So that kind of really shaped myself. The stuff I gave you guys today.
Oh yeah, the Gumbies
and the Gumbies. So Jeff and I really had a really similar, big drill car. Again, that's kind of what brought us in.
Yeah.
When Jeff met Bob and Paul at a big drill car show, and we should get together and jam, and that's kind of how it all progressed.
It really is interesting how, and it's so all encompassing. Like, I listen to stuff and people be like, what the fuck are you listening to? Like really, like I love ABBA.
Oh, my daughter is.
It's so. And Eddie Money, fucking Thin Lizzy. We have matching Thin Lizzy shirts.
Eddie Money's great.
There's
and
as
I got older, I actually, if I can share one thing, so mid-90s, Lifetime, Hello Bastards, and I was like, oh, Lifetime, I didn't really, their stuff I didn't really like, and we're at Kueh's Cafe. I don't know if you guys know Kueh's Cafe, Dennis, Lily, but Lifetime and Gameface played, and so I'm outside, and Dan gives me their CD, and I'm like, oh, thanks, and this is during 3 to Get Ready kind of album release. So I went home, and I was like, and I was like, what? And I remember I listened to it like 3 or 4 times. It's like 5 a.m. and I'm like, I gotta go to bed, but I'm keep listening. It's so good. More. So I'm just Lifetime, just faster. It was such a good album. So it was then, and Gameface in Texas is the reason had like this love affair.
Texas is the reason the president is dead.
I'm just saying, like Norm and I became good friends through writing letters because he wrote this review about how I heard the Gameface album good, and I got home and I just loved this album, and then I found out that the drummer tragically died. This is in his review, which I have in my guitar case still, and he says, so I went to bed that night and just cried. Listening to Election Year, so we became friends, and then Gameface toured, Texas Reason started. So Norm was in California. He's like, hey, I want you to come to the Roxy tonight and watch this band, Red House Painters. And I was like, yeah. I don't know if you guys listen to Red House Painters, but
I think I've heard them a couple times.
They're fucking awesome. One of my favorite bands. Like the drummer literally could be asleep while he's playing. I'm like, what? Like it's you mean like Gizz? Stuff's so slow, and it's so they got like 14-minute song. But anyways, I went and I walked out, and it was like, that's the best show I've ever been to, and I was blown away. And so I love Red House Painters. So that really kind of opened me into getting out of that one-lane highway of like Hello Bastards and everything. So anyways, I was going to say that was a memory I've always had as far as one of the best shows I've ever been to. And then we're talking best shows. I went to Taylor Swift.
Oh my God.
And dude.
No, really?
And oh yeah. So my wife loves Taylor Swift, and so I'm always listening to some songs. I'm like, okay, these are good songs, but I wasn't like a Swiftie. And so we went to the show, dude. We went to the show, and I'm not kidding you, just like the Red House Painter show, where I sat there going, dude,
like what the fuck?
I'm in like greatness. 10 minutes into that Taylor Swift show, and you guys can argue all you want. I was sitting there going, I am in witnessing fucking greatness.
Wow.
And it was. And the next day I went and got
a Taylor Swift tattoo.
My Cruel Summer tattoo.
Oh my God.
Just to have that memory intact.
Oh, dude,
it was unbelievable.
Every one of these has a story.
Right. And that was, my thing. And my wife, we just had our 13th wedding anniversary. Oh, here's the dog.
There's the
underneath the table.
grumbler.
Hey,
Luz, congratulations.
yeah,
You really
thanks.
snagged a good one.
Thanks. Well, I would say vice
I would
versa,
say both
but,
ways, yeah.
But she said, "Hey, one thing I love is your Swiftie." Like, you know, hey, it's amazing. So one of the bands I've listened to, they're called Call It Off. I think they're from Dutch. I'm sorry, I think
Dutch?
they're a Dutch band. Yeah.
Holland?
Yeah, I was gonna say their album 13 just came out last week, and it's all like Taylor Swift covers.
Oh, no shit.
Oh, dude, and it's all like punk rock, power pop stuff.
So that's the thing. I mean, like if you
Call It
watch the Abbott documentary, it's like, hey, you guys got to be more like the Clash. Like, fuck you, we're not doing that. We're gonna be who we're gonna be, and that's the end of it. So there's a lot of respect to be had for that. Like, I like Erasure. Those guys are hyper talented. Like, it's
Depeche
weird.
Mode, man.
Nope.
Well,
No Depressed Commode.
I love Depeche Mode.
Depressed Commode. I would hit Depressed Commode with Led Zeppelin.
And as I got older, I think I started appreciating Depeche Mode more. I saw them. God, how times have changed. Poor man K-Rock was in.
Oh yeah, he just
city I
died
lived
last
in,
year.
And if you brought 2 canned goods, they were giving away tickets to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
for
I remember all
OMD.
that. Yeah. Oh, I love
So
OMD.
I'm like, yeah, I love OMD. I'm like, so we got these concert tickets for for $2, $1 a can.
Yeah.
So how times have changed, but yeah, I was gonna say, but lose, just all that, the 80s stuff, general
So
public.
I saw my first concert at Irvine Meadows when I was still there was Fun Young Cannibals in the Tom Tom Club.
Okay.
And Roland Gift is amazing. That guy is just a badass. Like it was a really amazing show. I think I was 12.
Nice.
The first show I saw at Dodger Stadium was the Jackson 5.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
So you really started off big on your concert.
apparently so.
Yeah.
And then I saw the Chicago and the Beach Boys at the Hollywood Bowl, which is pretty fucking cool.
Very cool. So, but yeah, I was gonna say, so that all that kind of
It's a great influence, though.
formed my sleep pattern. I want to be cognizant of our time, but I was gonna say,
I know we can go for as long as we want.
Okay.
So there you go. So we've got kind of a basis of sort of like how this has all evolved. And I was been listening to Sleep Pod for the last 2 hours, I think.
Okay.
So
Thanks.
tell us about Sleep Pod too.
So
How did the name come from?
So I was in a 10-month CEO coaching program with one of my mentors, Robert Santana. He's the CEO for Boys and Girls of the Central Orange Coast. So anyone that's looking into getting into supporting any nonprofits or tax write-offs, they are worthy of an investment. They do amazing stuff. And my wife, she's the director of operations for Central Orange Coast too. So they serve, 600 kids a day, and it's a huge impact. So anyways, I'm doing this 10-month CEO coaching program and all this stuff, but they spent a session on kind of breaking me down. Like, you help kids, your dad, son, Mateo, my daughter, Kaylani, who just graduated from UC Riverside.
Congratulations.
But what do you do for you? And that's funny how you kind of asked me that question like a couple hours ago, like, hey, so what's your thing? Because I don't drink, I don't smoke. Like, what do you put your energies into? And so they broke it down. Long story short, it was, I'm not a very deep person apparently in some sense, but it was movies and music. Mm-hmm. And Gameface, Steve, our drummer, lives near Dallas. So Gameface does some really cool stuff, but only a couple times a year. And they're like, so when was the last time you wrote? And I was like, well, my drummer lives in Texas. And they're like, so? I mean, it was really cutthroat program. So he said, you're going to buy a movie pass, which I have. And so if you look on my social media,
I love
Evan Jacobs and I go to the movies every Friday. And we, so that's been great. And then he said, well, you're going to start like writing and you're going to put together a new band, basically. So I called Chris and he and I were good friends from the 90s with, 100 Words for Snow and stuff. And he's like super close with Waleed. And I was like, oh, I'd love to play in a band with Waleed. He's great. Mm-hmm. And then I brought Guy from Gameface. And so we started Sleep Pod 2. And it was meant to, originally I started off, I don't know, like Def Leppard. I was thinking, God, there's some Def Leppard songs.
You've got one too many arms.
But I was going to say, but then, your music just writes itself and it takes you in a certain direction. So Sleep Pod 2 has been really fun. I've enjoyed doing a lot of the songwriting and everyone's contributing. I mean, Waleed, he's like, I have over 100 songs I've written and recorded of all the instruments and sang, and he's got all these files. And I was like, dude, what are you going to do with that? He's like, nothing. I was like, and Chris is like, well, we're going to play some of your songs. So It's been this really nice balance of songwriting. I've really enjoyed the friendship side with Waleed and Chris. I mean, and Guy, but I mean, I've been friends with Guy,
Right.
you know, in Gameface. So that's been really special. And Chris writes some really good like lyrics too, which are meaningful. I thought the first song I think that he brought to us it's called Silence, and we're going to be recording a 12-inch soon. But it just talks about, you know, how he did not speak up for like, you know, social, you know, against social injustice, against, and it says I didn't speak up, but I just played for the sweaters like in the room versus, you know, really saying, and you know, he said, I am silence and I am the problem, you know, my silence. And I thought, God, that's like how
Pretty heavy.
It's super deep and like great self-awareness, but just the whole point, getting back to how music is so powerful and how, you know, it can, one song can change the room.
Mm-hmm.
One album can change, you know,
Music.
the city.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one performance can change the world. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound so dramatic.
Well,
No, but that is
right,
true.
Yeah,
right.
if you change one person in the right direction,
Mhm.
they will go change other people in the right direction. And the same goes for the other direction. But you know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's exponential.
So I you know, think of all those bands, you know, that, and again, I think of all these records that kept me out of certain, you know, bad situations, you know. So, so Sleep Pod, like I said, we started off kind of with a bang and it was great. And then I got sick and had, you know, surgery and some complications. So it was like a year went by. And then, so at the beginning of this year in January in 2025, we got back to being able to practice because I couldn't really do much. And so we recorded our EP, which was great. And now we have so many songs we're ready to record. So we're looking for labels. So I was going to say, whoever's watching, you know, we have a few possibly
Mark.
lined up, but Mark actually, yeah, he put out the EP and stuff, was just great. But so Sleep Pod's been a real joy to play in. I like the freedoms of, because Gameface is we're very structured in the sense of, not that we don't expand our songwriting, but my point is there's probably not going to be any keyboards in Gameface. You know, there's
Right.
like our new stuff is Gameface, so it follows our formula. You know,
Right.
like the new stuff is still going to sound like Gameface versus sometimes some of these bands that you go, whoa, that's
AFI.
You know, which my wife, one of her favorite bands. Yeah, and again, I like the new AFI.
So do I.
And I get that people are like they want to hear the old. So my point is Gameface, it's going to sound like Gameface, but with Sleep Pod,
You
I
get some
could
freedom to do
add whatever I want. And then I'm actually starting a project with Jeff, an LA based thing.
Maybe.
We're there, but I also have another.
You're gonna have to get a shock collar.
I have another band that I'm super excited about that starts actually next week. We have our first rehearsal, so that's and it's got a pinch of the 80s, a pinch of you know, the players in it are wide range.
Right on.
So yeah, I'm really excited about that too. And the songwriting is gonna be this good mix stuff that again I probably couldn't do in either Sleep Pod or
It's hard to be 11 bands, Wall.
Well, it'll be four bands.
Well,
three, and then
yeah.
Jeff getting the LA stuff together.
Yeah, so based on that and that amount of bands, there was a question I've been thinking about for a couple of days based on this was going to happen. I met you, 3 weeks ago or a month ago?
At the art
gallery, yeah.
Which bravo.
That was
awesome.
Dude, that was spectacular. Like I got fucked on that Arston barbecue and eating my balls. However, that was a very powerful thing. I mean, it was beautiful. It was
awesome.
amazing. Kind of based on current technology, and I think it's actually coming full circle, but like punk rock through the late 90s and the early part of the 2000s became more of a signable and profitable thing, and it kind of lost a lot of its DIY luster. Do you think it's coming back to that?
I think with the technology out there and the stuff where you can
Do it
do a
yourself.
ton of stuff from home, I think so. And I think without getting into sports, religion, or politics, I think the current culture, though, I think punk rock, it's a fire blazing, and hopefully it will be for the betterment of people in the world. So I think so, and I think what's super cool is I see, you know, just on, you know, just Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is, all these young, just shredder musicians.
Oh my God, I want to quit.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like, fuck it.
Let me just publicly state I am a failed musician.
Same here.
I am very good in my one lane, octaves. I play all octaves.
Oh, yeah.
But these quote kids, I guess, and if you check out Career Woman, that's Jeff's daughter. She's 21, I think.
She rips on everybody.
Their band, her songwriting is amazing. She's super popular, but it's well deserved. And I'm saying it's like a really good example of these young musicians who are kind of DIY.
There's a young lady called Emmy Grace.
The difference.
She fucking. I mean, I don't think I know a single guitar player she could just walk all over. And she's like probably 20,
which is exciting because again, I'm in my band next week that's starting. Nonzo is playing keyboards, but his band, which you should check out too, Familiar Faces out of Long Beach, they shred. But Nonzo, I think, is 24 years old, and he taught himself how to play music in the pandemic in 2020.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, so you're this total shredder on multiple instruments. He's teaching the music around a Boys and Girls Club. I'm saying all the kids are shredding in an awesome way, like kids that would probably be in bad stuff if they weren't involved in music.
I can't even save
he taught
money.
himself, 5 years ago, and I'm like, so you started 5 years ago. I started,
40.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say in high school, you're right, and here I am, still can't play certain licks and Nonzo. It's like, oh, here's how you do it. I'm like, of course. So, anyways, Nonzo, if you're watching, I just hats off, dude. Like the kids you're influencing and teaching music to, and the fact that you're such a shredder and you're self-taught. It kind of gets back to it's just so it's totally alive and well.
But
music is alive
that's it. That has to be that youth mentality, because when we were young, we taught ourselves and look at how far we've gone. In 2020, when the pandemic started, a friend of mine, Colin from Angus Mullins, he works at Schecter, and he gave me an acoustic guitar. And I was like, oh, well, if I have all this time, I'm going to learn how to play guitar so I can start. Didn't learn shit. Didn't learn shit, man. Never. I could not. First of all, I'm a left-handed guitar player,
which is great.
And I just, I can play the shit out of an air guitar, but a real guitar, I don't have the patience. I taught myself how to play drums, and I'm limited to punk rock, and that's it. But all these kids though, but they have YouTube that you can see what the chords are, on any song, and probably AI now you can.
Oh yeah, and then alternative tuning. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, what?
I often say, seriously, I'm the rhythm guitar player in Gameface and Sleep Pod and I don't have any rhythm, So it's
well, you're pretty fucking white.
It's challenging.
You have great hair though, just like me.
It's the best money can buy.
I got the best hair.
I was gonna say it's again to your points, like people like Nonzo who taught themselves to play, and Jeff's daughter who's just natural. I mean, she obviously inherited her dad's just freaking abilities because she's awesome. All these other bands that are up and coming, and I'm not in the now on all the new stuff, but I've been introduced to a few new bands and just so good. So yeah, I'm excited to.
When was the last time you talked to Wall?
Today.
Did he tell you about the band we played with in New Jersey?
Which
there was the headlining band we played at the Meat Locker, and they were called $3. Okay, no. They're all under 18. I think maybe one of them was 20, but everybody's under 21, and all four of these guys, all shredders. Like their drummer, like Wall and I were just looking at him going, what? I mean, this kid's 17, and just killing it.
Which I can listen to like Gameface demos, which I think I was 19 or 20, and they're not good. Like to your point, you got these 17-year-olds who are shredding, like, and it's awesome. But also, I think, and again, I know we're going way back to high school back in the 80s, but I remember Jeff would always say, people would be like, why do you want to be in a band? Like you should just go to the movies. I mean, because everyone was more interested in the movies than, and in our high school, there was like one other band, you know, which versus now there's probably so many people.
1,700.
And actually I have a big drill car story, which
Oh,
is great.
shit.
I remember I called my ex-girlfriend and she was at UCLA and
It wasn't Lucy, was it?
no, Luz and I, we,
No, not Luz, Lucy.
no, Lucy.
Different story altogether.
We don't want to edit another show.
So I remember we were talking on the phone and I remember she said very condescending, "How's your band?" And I said, "Pretty good."
Better than not having sex with you.
Over the phone, I played her the takeaway.
Nice.
You know, not that Jeff sounds like Frank Daly, but we always kind of tried to. And then she said, "Oh wow, you guys got really good." And I was fucking right. And I'm thinking, yeah, because she doesn't know who, you know, Big Joe Carr is. So I'll never forget that.
Fuck, I love
But
that
just-
song.
But my point is, she was like, "How's your little band?" You know, like, because it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know, now it's like really cool to be. You know, and like Simon Taylor's doing. He was kind of a classic pianoist from a kid to now, and now he's kind of doing programmable music on the computer. And,
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. Like, I'm stuff that I can never do. So, you know. So, anyways, I'm saying I'm really happy with Sleep Pod, and thanks for the listening to the support. I think it's good.
Dude, I was well impressed. I'd seen the sticker on Jeff's mug or something. I'm like, I don't sleep up to. And then this all started. I'm like, you know, let me check this shit out. Let me see. I'm like, fuck, this is actually really fucking good.
Well, the first song, you know, All That We Have, is each other, which I guess I stole when I first. And I'm going see.
It goes.
My youth development and my music are just hand in hand. So when I like my first week as CEO, you know, 12 years ago, and I'm no longer. I stepped down in June, so it was a bittersweet thing. Like,
I wouldn't
super
talk
proud of my
about it.
work, but I'm glad. I'm doing my MBA program now and a bunch of stuff. But
Masters of Basketball Assistants.
it will be not that one, but yeah, I hope that says the right thing.
I mean, you trained for the junior basketball Olympic team.
I mean, that was a long time ago. Yeah.
But you did it.
But my mentor said, "Hey, we are all that we have, so thank you." Like, in this industry, so I was like, "Well, we are all that we have in this."
Yeah.
So the song's about addiction, you know, about Chris's his sister-in-law, you know, and how, you know, without getting into that business, but it was, you can listen to the lyrics, and then about Bob, and you know, it says, "Life will knock you down, but I'll be here when you get up." And then, you know, and if you can't basically stand up, I'll lay down, I'll meet you on the ground until you're ready, you know, and that's the whole point, you know. And then like a song I wrote called Concealer about an ex-employee and a dear friend she's in like the total abuse relationship. I mean, I'm talking, you know, gunned her head, shit like that. Just, yeah. And it's tragic because, you know, she went from this super strong person to just, and you know, and a lot of people are stuck, you know, they can't get away, even though it's right there.
Yeah.
They should. So if you listen to the song Concealer, it's all about, you know, hey, we're going to be this, you know, he says he loves me, you know, it's like, what was the reason to believe song? Here's a rose for that broken nose. I mean, about, you know, abuse. And,
Oh, they meant Bruce Springsteen, but okay.
no reason to believe. Yeah. So another great band. I mean, just, you know, and
Great man.
I mean, yeah. So, so anyways, that the Sleep Pod and some of our other songs, they really have deep meaning. So I'm super proud. And again, what do we want our music to be? Impactful. Even like, and I always use chocolate cake as the example. I mean, it could be something not stupid.
Gizz his beard.
Well, or it could be about this, you know, Concealer's full on abuse, and you know, and she can't get out of it, and it sucks, you know, and you know, it's me again. I'm wearing concealer again because, you know, she's showing up to work, and it's just, God, it's heartbreaking.
I mean, the people of our age, we went through a little bit more, I think, and I think we got pretty good at hiding it, and so that's exactly what I'm taking from that. Yeah,
Gen X.
I mean, the abuse is real, and that's why it gets to it. And sometimes it comes to a head, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But it will eventually.
Well, I mean, it's.
I heard my stepdad.
There's tons of examples out there, right?
Yeah.
Where when we were out of high school, that wasn't really, we didn't know or have that, you know.
There wasn't the outlet for it.
Right. And now, I mean, that's the real positive about technology. And as we progress, I mean, I know there's a bunch of negatives too. You know, the internet's the best thing ever. Internet's the worst thing ever, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I'm just saying.
But the internet said.
Yeah. But I'm saying that as far as being able to get the message out, you know, and like I said, I have no idea. Hopefully, I have a dear friend, the singer 441. I just saw him play this weekend, but He had a song that it's called "In His Presence," and I was, you know, just going, you know, my painkillers and just the you know, I was in I was doing just you know, putting these just murder. I mean, the needles electrified in me.
But we've all been through
Yeah,
the kind of the similar surgeries and whatnot, and how much you saw my hernia. It's like it's
yeah,
not
your
small.
scar. Yeah, I mean that's
and it doesn't feel great, and it makes the crowds. Like, it took me 6 months to climb up a ladder.
I mean, people are like, you're an acupuncture. I'm like, it's not the Zen master. It feels great. It's
no,
like I call it murder.
It hurts. It
and,
sucks.
yeah, my friend John, this song just, I mean, it's 40 years old, and it just really kind of gave me hope. And then he and I connected, you know, and we joked that we're the best of friends over 40 years, the past 2 years.
There you go. That's me and
so
Jeff.
I used to watch his band when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Like, and the guys, you know, and he texts me, and then like John LaCroix from 10 Yard Fight, you know, he would like literally call or message me every day to see how I was doing. And I was talking to him on the way up here to LA.
There you go.
And he was getting kind of back to our musical. He's saying, "How are you playing this?" And I was like, I don't know, like, notes, and I don't know.
Yeah.
God, I hate fucking hearing that.
If you do the power chord E and stretch your finger down, I don't know what you call it. And he was like, "Okay, I got it." He was like, "You're writing some really interesting like stuff that," and I was like, "Well, I think to my benefits, because I was never trained,
Right.
but also to my weakness, I'm like, I
Not
can't,
trained.
like, how do you play that? Well, just listen to it. No, I need you to tell me how
Yeah.
you play it. I can't
I
figure
went
out.
through that
Like,
recently.
Waleed, like,
Sorry,
it's just
Chris.
this. And I'm like, Waleed, I do not have your musical
That
mind.
that's the one thing that annoys me about like with foreclosure is that everybody knows the notes and everything.
They're all shredded.
And
There's
there's
8
the guitar
fucking
player for
notes.
or I think he's the bass player for Implants,
Uh-huh.
Chris Del Rio.
Yeah.
He writes songs, and when he was in Dead Lazlo's place, okay, this one's in G, and he would just look down his guitar. This one?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I
like,
was
is this-
recently
is that
talking
G?
to him about that. I go, well, so I give him the chord progression. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
And one of the things I've loved about Sleep Pod is Chris is like this awesome guitar player.
Yeah.
Like, it's great.
it probably helps a lot.
Jeff, you know, obviously Gameface is a extremely talented guitar player. And if you listen to his side band, Low Coast, I mean, they're just,
We played with him a few
yeah,
times.
I mean, they're a mix of Tom Petty and a mix of, I mean, but my point is Jeff is so well, you know, such a great musician. Like one of our new songs, he's like, here, you know, I have to play the intro, and it's very different from how Jeff plays it. But and Jeff's like, okay, sounds good.
So what do you play through? What's your rig? Obviously the JCM 900.
So, I played Ibanez's in the 90s. So my first guitar was an Ibanez Roadstar Series, I think 2.
Oh
I remember
man.
my dad, when he bought it, he
Oh.
literally had the guitar, and he was like, "You will not quit sports."
Right? Yeah.
And I'll never forget.
Yes,
he said
I
that.
will.
And then he got this, you know, and so then I got the Ibanez, the blue Ibanez on 3 Get Ready, which is great. And then in '98, I got Les Paul, which really changed things for Gameface.
Oh yeah.
And that's when Jeff started playing guitar in Gameface too. So we kind of needed a better sound than maybe the Ibanez. And then I was changing a diaper, and I put my Les Paul stupidly up against the counter. It broke the headstock. And I was like,
I have one of those things in the fucking thing right there.
yeah, but it ended up being great because I went to go buy another Les Paul, but I was like, let me play the SG.
Okay.
So I never had an SG, and dude, the SG is the best, dude.
Really?
Well, I'll get there to my progression because I got more.
Shit.
So I love the SG. The sound is big and it's light, and you know, Les Paul literally like, God, you
I
know.
like heavy guitars.
So then I went to interesting Schecter.
Love them.
Freaking love Schecter, and I thought I'll never play anything else again. And I have 2 Schecters. I bought a kind of cheaper. We went to Brazil, and I was like, man, we had never been to Brazil. You know, it was always like Europe and you know, multiple tours there, but Brazil. So I brought my lesser expensive Schecter just in case there was an issue, but there wasn't. So I had that, and then just for my you know, my 30-year celebration, boys girls, they presented me a really kick-ass Telecaster, which is the Dinosaur Junior version.
Oh, okay.
The J Mascis.
Oh, yeah.
Literally one is super cool. So Waleed's put in a super distortion pickup. So
Yep.
I put in the DiMarzio, which my Les Paul has a super DiMarzio pickup, which back in '98, Jordan from Revelation Records was like, you should put in like this because it's, you know, and so I did that, which is great. We just had rehearsals before we recorded for Gameface, and I played the Telecaster, but then I played the SG, and
Back to the SG now.
so I am back to the SG. So I'm doing a JCM 900 is my rig, and then in the studio I did Les Paul with that, and then I did the SG with the JCM 800.
Okay.
And it sounds big.
Pedals?
It's, I never used any pedals in Gameface ever.
Nice. I love that.
Sleep Pod being different from Gameface. I've got delay, chorus, and I use a lot of the Big Muff.
All right.
I use a lot of
I have
delay, but
two
the delay is
pedals.
kind of for the noise.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
not like U2 delay. I would love to be able
No.
to play that way, but I can't. But it's a ton of like just good noise and feedback, and then notes, and like if you listen to some of the Sleep Pod,
Yeah.
you'll really hear it.
It's interesting too, because like I've heard, like I heard REM as a backing band with Warren Zevon doing Raspberry Beret on the radio at like midnight or fucking way back in the '90s. I was like, well, I know that's REM because they can tell the sound. You know exactly who it is. But I'm like, I didn't know Warren Zevon at the time. Like, but who the fuck is singing? And so that was Hindu Love Gods. And so, you know, he just traveled around and goes, almost like a traveling Wilburys kind of thing. But you can tell the bands and the guitar players, you can hear what they sound like.
Well, if we get back to Big Drill Car, they had a very awesome
Oh,
sound.
Mark, yeah.
I've never looked it up because I don't want to ruin it because I want to interview Mark, but I don't know what his rig was. I'm like, I'm not looking it up. Don't look it up. Don't look it up. Like, I want him to tell me what he played because that snap and that way he plays is so distinct. Like you cannot miss that.
MIA after the fact
Dude,
album. Oh
so
my god.
Fucking what's the Diamond Earrings?
I mean, MIA from the Underground was actually so. Jeff is an awesome artist, and he
did our record.
He's been doing. I mean, yeah, I'm saying in your record how he expanded that painting. I mean, genius. He does graphic design, but he did paintings years ago. So that his very first painting was Notes from the Underground, and he gave it to me, and I still have it.
Nice.
Like, and it's like MIA. Yeah, just like again another influence. I mean, just awesome band.
Yeah.
So.
All
Years
systems
ago,
go.
when I first got my Marshall, you know, with Bill, my friend Chris Lohman, who's been in tons of bands, but you know, he went and turned up my bass knob to 10.
Oh my god, it changed your life.
And it made, and I've had a ton of people over the years come up to me and be like, "Hey, I love your sound. Like, what's your sound?" I'm like, it's that bass.
It's
my
treble.
My treble's
mid,
on about
bass.
My mid's on about 3. My treble's on like 6.5.
Oh, and then okay.
Bass is on 10. And then the mid is like it's like maybe 2 or 3. So it's just a really good pop sound, and that's why I love the 900 because it's got the reverb. Like Norm used to be like, you gotta play an 800, but Chris, singer and guitar player from Sleep Pod, he has an 800, but it's one of the rare ones that has the reverb. It's awesome and it sounds amazing. But so I mean, I have a very not chunky sound, but I mean it's a good heavy sound, which complements, you know, Jeff's playing out of the Telecaster now, and so it's a little bit more cutting through. So our new stuff sounds great. I'm super excited for it to come out.
I can't wait to hear it on vinyl. That's where I'm like, I just want to hear this on vinyl so bad.
Sleep Pod's great because Waleed's like, I recorded with the Les Paul and then I used the Ibanez, the Roadstar. I got it, and that's so the name Sleep Pod 2.
There you go. That's what I want to hear.
I lifted that from Stranger Than Fiction, the movie with Will Ferrell. There's this quick scene where his place gets demolished. He has to go stay with his coworker, and he says, "Here's your room," or as I call it, Sleep Pod 2.
Okay,
which I thought was awesome.
That movie was fucking great.
It is. It's an awesome movie. Oh. Chris actually plays that same Fender that that's Chris's, which he had way before. So which brings us to the name of the band though. So Sleep Pod 2, when our first practice, right now my guitar cases are all, stickers and stuff from even the 80s, the 90s. And we hadn't opened up, like I hadn't played my Ibanez for 20 something years. So I got them, I took them in for the full, the guy had them for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he was
setting them up.
He's like, I got a lot of work to do. Cause I had duct taped the strap,
Oh yeah.
And so the guitar cases, and Chris was like, "Hey, my guitar." So I opened up my one Ibanez and I had a tour shirt, Sam I Am tour shirt from '93.
No.
Brand new.
In the case.
Because it was in my case. And I hadn't opened that case for 30 years. So my son was like, "Oh, I'm taking." And I had people say, "How much do you want for that shirt?"
Oh my God.
And I was like, "Well, my son took it. It's awesome. It's like brand new."
Which one is it?
It's gray. It's their European tour,
Mhm.
'93. It's got the guy like smoking on the front, like this guy, not the kind of Simpson looking,
Right.
but
Okay.
it's like just this dude. I can send you a picture.
Is that Blinded with Kindness is on that album?
It's great. I mean,
Blinded.
so Sam Am, another band that was
Yeah.
influential.
I have
Big
a
Drill
really-
Car, Sam Am, Jawbreaker.
Oh yeah.
Jawbreaker's probably my favorite band.
Oh
if
my
I had to
God.
name a favorite, but like Gameface got to play with Sam Am so many times, and those guys. Like I think Jason's probably, and I'll tell you, Gizz, your voice. I was listening to Foreclosure playing a song.
Don't make his ego bigger.
Last week, and my wife said, "Who's this?" And I said, "Oh," and I showed him like the podcast, and you're pretty punk rock. I said, "That's the guy you just." And she's all, "That's him singing." She's like, "Dude, he's angelic. Like his voice, dude is."
Damn it!
When we played with you guys right before I got sick,
Uh,
dude, I didn't know you, and I was like, "Holy crap! Like that guy can just sing like." Your range, but Jason from Sam, I mean, that dude's range. I mean, he's got, I would say, 4 different vocal sounds, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So, Sam, we got to play at the Ways Away, Sergi's other band, a year ago at Fest, and that was like, I was like, this is my first time out of the house in like a year. I am here listening to this band just shred. It was so good to hear. That was like a real moment, and that was interestingly, God, I don't want to say sports, but when Freddie Freeman hit that grand slam.
Oh yeah.
And then 2 minutes later, I walk on stage. So I always see on social media that moment, and it brings me to this is when I was just going on stage to play, and I'm thinking, am I ever going to get better?
I feel that
just endless recovery of you're not getting better.
Yeah.
And I just remember someone was like, "Are you all right?" And I was like,
"Nope,
I'm just crying," because I was on painkillers too, so it was
yeah, that helped.
but,
emotional,
but just. It was this moment for me, like to be able to go on stage. My son's there, and all these people flew in from England and Brazil, and all these. I mean, there's like this high school reunion. It was crazy, and it was just really special.
High school dropout reunion.
But it was literally 2 minutes after that.
I feel like you had a good upbringing, though.
Yeah. I mean, my dad was a high school teacher.
Shop have all his fingers.
Math.
You had all his fingers.
My mom. I mean, so like I've never heard my dad swear. I've never seen my dad unshaven. Like, he's pretty, and he's 86 now, and my mom's 81. And so I didn't have a bad upbringing. I didn't really have a relationship.
Okay.
And not negative, but just kind of like, how was your day?
Yeah.
Great. And it was only after I got older that I really kind of became
You had to try and connect.
really close with my parents. And it's funny, maybe not funny, but and maybe you can relate to this. I think back, God, I was such a shitty kid in the sense of we would on tour, we're gone for 8 weeks across. I mean,
Never called.
My son, if he's 20 if he said I'm going away for 8 weeks, I'd be like, dude,
every day you're calling
me. Kidding me? And this is and I never would call them, and there's no email stuff, but it's just I'm going, bye. And like that was kind of that. And so
I did that in junior
high. I think again, my dad and I have lunch, every Thursday, so I'm blessed on
That's
that.
awesome.
And again, he's in okay health, but it's been really,
Gizz and I both lost our dads in the same kind of year, almost the same amount of time. And I mean, it's fun. I didn't meet my dad till I was in my early 30s, so it was devastating. Like, get every minute you can with him.
And I have a new song that I wrote that I really like, but it basically says, I know you feel it too because your phone's rang, and I'm sleeping with my phone on at night now. Just, and I don't mean to sound over dramatic.
No, there's nothing.
Right,
dude, I fell down on the shop.
Like it's just, that at some point that call is going to come, and that's and again, so many people can relate to that. So this song, just talks about just the kind of the pressure of that, and to your point, I actually, as a Gen X guy, we suppress, and my wife
push it down.
Is younger than me, and she's like, "You Gen X are so fucked up." And it's true, but
I met her one time, and like, she's fucking awesome.
Thanks. I mean, I'm saying she literally, so we can get sappy and the power pop, but she has definitely saved my my heart, you know, and having gone through, just relationship, woes with previous to meeting her.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky, Luz.
You are. I've
I'm
been
very lucky, Luz. So, but
You're both very lucky.
thanks.
I've been in
But-
many relationships. They have never gone very well.
Yeah, I mean,
probably me.
I am lucky, and she. I'm just saying, I have a lot of quirks. I'm Gen X, so we suppress. But I went to one of the online counseling things with phone calls and just talked about, hey, I'm just having a hard time because I know what's coming and I don't know how to deal with that. And lose, like Day of the Dead is coming up, and
Today is Day of the Dead for the dogs.
yeah, that's right. And we have our thing up in our house, and but I never met her dad. Like right when we kind of started dating, he passed away, unfortunately, and he was, I think, 48. So I'm just saying, yeah. So it just like she's been through it, and so again, I don't want to sound over dramatic. I just
There's no over dramatic.
Like we all go through it, but I'm saying it's definitely on my mind, and so I appreciate and agree with you that like lunch and Mateo is great. He's like, hey, I'm gonna go even though I have like schoolwork, but we'll go. And so anyways, I'm just saying.
I mean, if I could talk to my dad one more time, I would give everything.
I'm blessed that my dad's story, when we wrote Moon at Noon, and Stevie Van Zandt put it on his Underground Garage on XM radio, and then a few weeks after he heard it on XM, he passed away. And then I got to do the coolest conversations, and every time we play, I dedicate that song to my dad. I wear his socks, so
doesn't wash them.
So that he stands with me, on stage. And I said that story on Saturday at Dr. Strange, and there was a lot of people came up to me afterwards, like, I don't get to talk about my dad very much,
Right.
And thank you for doing that. And can I tell you about my dad? And I was like, yeah. So
And again,
after 9 beers, there's a lot of tears.
Oh, yeah.
And the power of music.
Yeah.
I'm saying
That's that connective tissue of what
Mhm.
we do and who we are. That's what keeps and binds all of this together. Somebody you can emote like that now, and somebody can go, you know what, me fucking too.
Hmm.
the song, the chorus says, I know I'm not alone, and I know your phone rings too. I'm trying so hard right now to stay in this truth. I've got this picture in my head. I remember the last words you said, heartbreak times 2, heartbreak times you. So little nod is Psychedelic Furs too, who I freaking love. Psychedelic Furs and Love Spit Love. I got to see them. I got to lose it. Thanks for the shout out. Yeah,
She gets more than a shout out.
it,
She's a
baby.
banner.
Yeah. I was like, get her on here and she can tell you about her Britney Spears phase, her AFI.
So I'm actually blocked from calling the Kitsap County Sheriff's Office. My dad had a heart attack, but he got stung by a bee right before, and so they confiscated the bee as evidence, and they won't give me the fucking bee.
Really?
Yeah, I wonder if there's little bee cuffs. Did the bee like hate my dad? I'm both. They won't let me answer. They won't answer the phone for me.
That's a tattoo idea. So
Yeah. Oh,
I
trust me.
I have a friend who's possibly going to sing for the new project, but his son at like, I want to say like 8 weeks or something had to have open heart surgery.
Ugh.
So he said, I'm not into tattoos, but I'm going to probably get the scar. So it matches. And I thought, dude, like, that's so freaking great. But like how, like, I like to say I'm level headed, or hope to think that, but when it comes to my kids, like it's stress city, and I could not imagine like 8 weeks having open heart surgery. Like, and it was during COVID, he said, which is all fucked up, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't let people in. So anyways, I was like, maybe a bee tattoo. I don't know.
No, the bee tattoos. I think my scar might be the San Andreas Fall. Just waiting for the big one.
Well, I'm saying, thanks for sharing that with me too. So I'm saying I'm not wearing my brace anymore, and you were like, hey, so I'm just saying. So I'm thankful to be better. I still feel like I have a ways to go, but again, it's been a really, all my songwriting has been kind of about this it's like
It's
faith
weird
versus doubt, like
isn't it weird how as we get older, our songwriting, like I remember my songwriting in my 20s and 30s was partying and
girls,
not
which is great. Love songs are great,
but everything rhymed.
I never wanted to write a love song back then. It wasn't until 6 years ago I just started like writing heartbreak songs and songs about death and songs of all dark songs, and that's I can't get out of it. Like now I try to write just some normal song and it's just like, yeah.
I think this has been one of our
Doesn't
best
do it.
interviews and least funny.
Well, thanks. And that song's called "Consoling Ghosts." By the way.
Well, that
Oh,
Be
dude,
looking for
come
that
on.
with the new project.
Yeah,
It's
that's not
MEOW.
gonna come out till next year.
No, it's probably a year and a half because
Okay.
I'm trying to do a double album.
Oh,
Jesus
Jesus!
Christ.
No one does, and people are like,
I
that's stupid
fucking-
because you only need 2 or 3 songs released. But I'm like, that's not the point I want.
You want
And
to do
again,
it
not
all?
to sound dramatic, but when I'm not here anymore, and how long,
Yeah.
you start having that really fucked up thinking when
Yeah.
you're sitting there recovering. Am I going to recover? How long?
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so I was like, I want this music is eternal.
Mm-hmm.
So for my, my son and my daughter,
That's in
they'll
the
have
album.
this, a double album, and no one does double albums anymore.
Mhm.
So I was like,
Dude, I
that
love
might
it.
put me on the map as far as this project. But again, it's for, and I don't want to use the word legacy because I don't, but
It is legacy.
but it's my point is it will be something that 40 years from now my kids can listen to and say that's my
Yeah.
dad playing guitar,
Mhm.
or that's my dad playing octaves because that's
Right.
all I play. Actually, an interesting story for going back.
Yeah.
The first Gameface 7-inch, I don't know how to play octaves, so it's funny that it's all like kind of power chords or whatever. And then I used to hang out with Zach from Rage Against the Machine, and he was from Irvine where I grew up, and
The ATM.
huh?
He was raging against the ATM machine.
He actually, well, this was when he was in Inside Out, which
Yeah.
is a fucking great band. I mean, dude, Inside Out, so good. And we were playing guitar like at midnight at this elementary school because it had like natural reverb, like 'cause we were
Oh,
in this
yeah.
like kind of outside hallway. And he was like, "You play octaves?" And I was like, "What's that?"
8.
And he was like, "You just drop your finger one string." And I was like, and it was literally
Gates
Boom.
open.
yeah, 35 years later, I'm still, Gameface. I'm that one lane, really good on the one lane. I'm very good. But you want me to switch it over to I can't. Where Jeff, could go up there and just, you could start playing a song and Jeff could just rip on it, and jam. But I'm like, hey, what fret is that? Yeah. So anyways, I'm just saying I do it very well, that one lane. But that was, Zach from Rage Against the Machine taught me how to play octaves.
That's fucking
cool.
awesome,
We're not,
dude.
we're not in contact or anything.
You're
for a
better
brief,
off.
Brief, time we were.
Yeah.
And then when he was in Far Side, I don't know if you guys like Far Side.
I was listening to that for
Dude,
all
Far
morning.
Side, like one of the best.
I have a Gangstar station on podcast on Spotify.
I mean, Pac was one of the most talented guys.
Guru
That was
podcast.
in our scene. And yeah, I'm just saying the Monroe Doctor. Kevin Murphy. Holy cow! So I was going to say it is in the works, but we are looking to play 2, possibly 3 shows with Far Side in March, April, May next year. It's still, we're trying to get all the schedule.
I know an opening band.
So
5 closure.
by the way, when Wally told me Foreclosure, I thought, okay. I mean, and a band names, can be, it's all about the music, right? I mean, Red Hot Chili Peppers. What a
Right.
stupid name, right? I'm just saying stupid name, but yet their music is like Smashing Pumpkins. Like, but it ends up being great because the band. But
Screaming Trees.
But then Wally told me, I have a great Screaming Trees story I can tell you. We can go all night. but
I know we're gonna have to do 2 episodes at this point.
He told me about For Sale, and I was like, and it was literally like, that is so good. Like, and I love it now. Like, so good.
Well, Lewis was like, all right, dude, I just want a band with my friends and no expectations, dude. And I just want to do Foreclosure. And I was like, that's the name of the band.
So good.
That's the name of the band right there. And then look at us. Like, we were supposed to do 1 show. Here we are 3 years later.
No, and continuing, which is great.
And we just keep getting better and better. Now we have this new bass player who's just
Steve O'Brien, you're a bad motherfucker.
Which is great.
And Wall he makes it fun. And being on the road with Wall is the funnest thing because you say something about, you bring up a band and he'll give you the history.
Oh yeah.
And then he knows everything.
Genius.
Yeah. And then he's just like, well,
In the studio. In the studio where he's like, hold on, and I'm like, it sounds fine to me. And he's like, breaks down, we need this. And then instead of doing this, and I'm like, but he's doing all that on the spot. Where, I go home and I'll listen to the roughs and go, okay, I need to change that or add this. And Waleed's like on the spot, like here, and I freaking love it. Like he's so
Have you ever seen him drunk?
Johnny on the spot?
I'm just saying he's so good.
He is.
Let me tell you Screaming Trees real quick. So the band Alligator Gun.
Uh-huh.
Oh
Friggin'
my God.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gameface played with them, good friends, but they were in town mean, this is again probably the late '90s, and they stayed at my parents, my house, and we were playing basketball on the driveway. I know we're not talking
And you're
sports,
winning.
but we're playing basketball. No, they were great.
No.
And their roadie had a Screaming Trees shirt on, and it's the one where they're eating out the chick or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And my mom,
God,
who's very
not so much that
drink. My parents are they're not conservatives, but they're conservative. I guess conservative Democrat. But anyway, she was like, "Oh, I love that shirt. That's interesting." And I was like, "Oh God!" And then she's kind of looking at it, and then she's kind of looking at it, and then she's all,
I don't like that shirt.
Oh,
and my friend's like, "Yeah." And I remember talking about kind of the power of music at the time. I'd had a really rough time in this relationship, and that same guy, he left me a note in my room that said, "Hey Todd, like, sorry to hear things are rough, relationship wise, but he's all like Johnny Cash said, drive on." And I was like, and I'll never forget like how rad.
oh,
Yeah.
fuck, that's so cool.
Like how rad that was. So, and so Alligator Gun, dude, brilliant band.
Fuck yeah.
So if you guys haven't heard of them, look them up. 'Cause
We went on our first tour with Foreclosure, and puts it on, and I'm this is this is great, and then about a year and a half later, when we were doing another tour, right before we went, one of my buddies from England sent me a list like, "Hey, we're on tour, you got to listen to these bands," and Alligator Gun was one of them. I go, "Have you guys ever heard of Alligator Gun?" And everybody just looked at me and goes, "Really?
You dumb motherfucker."
Really?
well, I mean, they were Milwaukee, and Scott, the bass player, is bass player in Dashboard Confessional. So awesome guy, like super cool guy. So I'm just saying, but yeah, Alligator Gun.
I want to do this again. I want to do this again. I would like to have this and bring Wall with you. Because that would be fun. I would like to have, actually, it'd be really fun to do a round table with Wall and Sharif.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That, do you know Sharif?
From Exploding Flowers, Buford.
No.
Oh my God, encyclopedia.
Here,
If you
see
put
on
those
the-
guys in a room, it'd be like getting an AI talk to an AI.
Well, that's why Jeff and I have become really good friends outside of everything else, because this the music and how any credits. He's like, dude,
There, we all have
like
it.
like the whole. I mean, from the Replacements to metal bands. To,
Oh yeah.
Well,
Well, I bought us matching Thin Lizzy shirts. We have Thin Lizzy days
Same.
in the shop.
Yeah.
Like we really, honest to God, do. And it's like everybody's like, "Oh fuck this again, Jesus Christ."
But that's what brought he and I together was
Music.
the first day that like we reconnected.
Yeah, I'm bonded.
And we were just talking, and then he brought up that Lazlo's place, and obviously, but he's like, "Oh, but that year that album came out," I go, "That wasn't that year," and he goes, "Yeah, it was." And I started thinking about it. I go,
Yeah.
"Oh
right.
shit, you're right. It did come out that year. We wrote it this year, but it did come out that year." But his history, like and the knowledge of that's what I love. When you're a true musician and you love punk rock, and you can just like here we are talking hours and hours and hours and hours about the love of our music.
Dude, late July 1992, one of my favorite shows I've ever seen was Big Drill Car, Fluff, Olive Lawn, and Down by Law. I took my pants off and jumped in 92.
Nice. Okay, I was gonna say.
I took my pants off. My friend Jeff and I took our pants off and did crowd surfing in our underwears.
I'm saying the Big Drill Car live, and again, they never got their due.
Oh my God, no! I
Just
mean,
amazing talent.
when
and
All Systems Go
songwriting
became something, they really kind of that was just fucking. It's just like, what the fuck just happened?
Well, I think, and again, thank you guys for having me on. And again, I want to be a person of hope, in everything I do, which I don't succeed at always. But I'm saying, and I think the music and the passion, and what we're talking about, just trying to make these impacts, is what I am most proud of. I think when I look back over the last 30 years plus years, but moving forward, the ability to still write songs that matter, songs that connect.
I love the songs that connect with people, and that's what I love about songwriting is that I know where it comes from, and when somebody else feels it, and then they can come up and you can start that little dialogue about I went through this, and that song kind of helps me.
I have to put up with Gizz, so I listen to hardcore thrash metal.
I thought you were going to say ska.
Again, I love. Actually, there's one ska band. They're called Hans Gruber and the Divers. And when we played Fest, I saw them, and I was like,
you have to.
And I couldn't see them because I was in bed, or they conflicted Gameface. But I remember my son and I went to their merch, a couple hours before, but then he said, "Give me all that." Not hearing them, but they actually, they're ska band, but they play like some metal stuff too. It's weird.
Ah.
They have this really, but anyways, I got to see them a year ago at Alex's bar, and I was like, Hans Gruber and Die Hard.
They're
Like,
so
best
good.
game ever. You know,
Oh my
ska
God.
guy, but it was so great. So I
give
was
him
going
a
to say
chance.
one thing about how we like how the music's. I saw 7 Seconds, you know, when they did the circle jerks.
Oh no shit.
Dude, Kevin Seconds still got it.
Oh,
It
yeah.
sounded better than ever.
Mm.
Their songs, it was so good. And again, it was like this. I went home and I made. I'm consulting for Manhattan Stitching, so if you guys want 10% off any merch, it's guaranteed.
We have a heat press, but
I'm
Gizz is
saying,
lazy.
But I went and made these 7 Second shirts. You know, it's not just in my head; it's in my heart. And I was like, I left. I'm thinking, how old is 7 Seconds? And I've heard all their songs a million times. I've seen them, but I went home and I was like, fuck, like I'm so inspired by that. And they sounded so good. And again, I don't want that to sound cheesy or anything.
No, it's not, man.
I literally was like, hey, that is what I needed. It was such a good show.
It's great when a band that, you know, has been on hiatus and they come back and they're still strong.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
you
yeah.
know? And like,
inspiring.
Yeah.
I mean, there's because that's a difference.
Yeah.
They're strong and there's
And
inspiring.
what I don't, not that I don't have respect for, but what kind of disappoints me is if, when a band comes back and they got to like lower the key so the singer can, you know.
That's a real thing.
We get older,
Yeah,
dude.
I know.
We get
I'm
older.
not a singer, so I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's I know Gameface, like, you know, like there's like the difference between playing and falling, like Jeff. So I don't know if we can play that one anymore. Like, you know, I gotta step back because it was different, you know. I mean, however many years, and Jeff can still nail it, but he was just like, that's one that you want me to sing the other songs the rest of the set that, you know, may not be, you know, and there's so, but yeah, it's a real thing.
Oh, yeah.
I hear you. I think there's a renaissance of all these bands getting back together, and some of them are doing it in an awesome way, and some of them are
Doing it for money.
probably shouldn't have gotten back
That
together.
guy's name is Social Distortion.
That's another
Well, I
thing.
was going to say 98 Degrees. They're
Well, that
doing
works.
all covers,
Yeah.
and they're like playing these huge shows, and I'm kind of like, and my wife's like, why are they playing?
Why are they alive?
Which is weird. Yeah, it's weird. So anyway, I know that's the
I
other
had-
thing about punk rock that's been great is like with us, you know, it used to be frowned upon. Oh, you like hair metal. Oh, you like REM.
Fuck off. You
It's
like
great.
everything.
Right. Like look at us. Like the big eclectic mix of
We are the
influences.
greatest punk rock stars on the
I'm just saying,
planet.
like,
When
it's
in
a
the
good
80s,
time.
in the 80s when I was in junior high and high school, my guilty pleasure when I was alone, nobody around, was listening to The Cure.
Oh,
I love
loved
The Cure.
And it wasn't until I was in probably my 30s when I finally vocalized like, I'm a fan of the fucking Cure.
genius.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
I guess my last quick story is my senior year in high school. It was honors English, and we had to write this like tragedy, and it had to be like 18 pages, and it was like from the beginning, first day, this is your end of the year project. You can't graduate. So I wrote this stupid tragic story about whatever, but I titled it In Between Days.
There you go.
Yeah,
One of my favorite stories was
that's all
Gizz.
lyrics. You know?
When we were at Punk Rock Bowling, this is right before I got kicked out of the Punk Rock Museum, before I got in. I took my acoustic.
That's another episode.
I know, that's a whole episode.
Yeah.
I took my acoustic with me, and I was sitting in there, and I'm like, fuck. I called my friend Pat. I'm like, what's that chord progression 40 ounces again? And he goes, "Blah, blah, blah." I go, cool. I just started playing. He just starts singing it, and I'm like, I'm sitting in a fucking house in Vegas, and this song that means so much to me. The guy that fucking wrote the lyrics is standing right next to me singing this song. And it's like, holy fucking shit. Like, who gets that?
That's awesome.
Who gets that?
So
That's that time. That's that whole moment. I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking cool as shit. And then I tried to sing along and fucked up the song.
but
It still got it, man. I got that thing. So
I was gonna say, actually, I have to. We played Grows Rock in Belgium a couple times, but the last time we played, we were right next to the Descendants trailer.
Oh.
And I remember Jeff ran back and he's all, dude, I just like talked to Milo, and I was like, where is he? I'm gonna go find a reason to talk to him. So we ended up talking about a lot of stuff, non-music, which he was super great. And then I was like, hey, he's like, we're like main stage, but it's like 2:30,
Yeah.
But it's main stage, which is probably a mistake because Gameface is much better in smaller, confined areas. But we had like an autograph session that time. I was like, okay, well, it's great, talking to you. Anyways, halfway through our set, I look over and he's leaning on the JCM drinking coffee. So I'm like, so there's Milo.
there you go.
Watching me 10 feet away with Fucking coffee
Dude,
cup,
that
like burned in my head, you know.
Yeah.
It was so, like, to your point. Now he wasn't showing me how to play songs to be next to me, That
right,
would be
but it's still at that
so-
moment
so
your
story's
hero is
better,
like.
but it was awesome.
There's
that-
no better or worse. There's no
Yeah.
competition. Your hero is watching you
it
going,
was so
"Fuck it, this
cool.
is
With
great."
coffee, and I was like, yes.
Of course, it's coffee. They don't let you drink booze at JPL because you get fired. Because I know all those guys.
And then I was like, man, I don't think we were that good either. And I was like, we're
You
good.
guys are
Trust
fucking
me, man. You know, yeah.
I'll,
so if
I'll
we
tell
wa-
you my story after we get off air.
Go ahead. Oh, after we get off, yeah. So there was a Paul Stanley.
Anyways, thank you guys. I'm saying,
Well,
Thank
Oh,
you
sorry.
for coming in.
I want to plug Gameface and Sleep Pod 2. What do you guys do for merch? Where do we get it? How do we get money to you guys for that? We've got to fund this album. It's a double fucking album, so it's 50% on.
so I would say, and we don't have a ton currently, but we're getting stocked up. Just go to either the Instagram or Facebook at Gameface Rock,
Okay.
or Sleep Pod 2 is on both. I mean, we're on
Okay.
both.
Cool.
But
Right
yeah,
on.
So
Yeah, buy the merch, buy the albums, buy the music. Listen to the music. I mean, I know the Spotify pays like $600 a song every time it gets
yeah,
played.
And again, I think
Fuck you,
punk rock,
Spotify.
we're in it for the money. Just like working nonprofit. If you're in for the money, you're in the wrong
Yeah.
Wrong business.
So
Well, nonprofit doesn't mean you're not making money. It just means you're not
correct.
getting
My point
paid
is,
well.
If you want to be rich, you need to be in it for other reasons, for helping people.
I want to be a
So,
Try
drug
my hair
dealer.
long. I'm going to start a hair metal band.
I'm gonna be a drug dealer, dude.
Finally make
if
some
you
money.
need octave player, put me in, man, seriously.
Hey, if you need me to fail because I tried to sing along, I'm right here.
Like octave with delay pedal, big muff, yeah.
Did you say fellatio pedal?
No,
That's
another story. My mom's
Everybody-
like, big mom, I don't, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well,
Well,
thanks
Merc-
for coming
how about
on.
Merkin?
And hopefully we can get you and
I'd love to get you and then
Wall.
Wall in the same place.
Wall doesn't like doing interviews. Though.
I don't care what Wall likes.
That guy can talk off camera.
well, he's
We
awesome.
will hide the cameras.
Dude, Mean Street Magazine. I mean, dude, he
Yeah.
was the
Oh, yeah.
success of he
Dude,
made that.
It's like, again, going back to when you're having conversations with them. Oh yeah, I interviewed them. Oh yeah, I interviewed them. Oh yeah, I hung out with them. Oh, I had lunch with them, and then interviewed
Oh, yeah.
them.
We
Jeez.
Have you been on Almost Famous, Almost Famous magazine yet? Oh, Scott, if you're watching, this is
Yeah.
Well, Lee said, "Hey, you want to come watch June Juggernaut at this hole in the wall, the Redwood in LA, and Max Bernstein's band, Taylor Swift's guitar player,
Yeah.
his band, they're playing,
Swifty.
and I'm like, yeah, and you know him? He's like, oh yeah, da-da-da. You like Gameface? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. So then I'm kind of covering my, Taylor Swift tattoos. So I'm thinking, there's like 30 people there. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
That's twice as many that saw Gizz last week.
Waleed's, Bill Stevenson sending him these stretch videos for his hurt shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, Waleed is
Dude,
everybody's friend. Waleed, he's awesome. So, anyways,
you can't. It's
We better cut it off. Or I'm gonna
we
keep
actually
going. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
on Saturday we did bring up that like that Kevin Bacon thing. It's 6 degrees of Waleed.
Well, I think that's the music connects us all.
It has to be.
Waleed's a perfect example.
Yeah.
So, and just really good guy.
I hope Aaron's
Very
watching
passionate
too.
guy.
Yeah.
And being a professor at Cal State Fullerton, like, dude, the stuff. The
And his
inspiration
radio
that he
show too.
does, Yeah, I'm just saying, like, it's
Yeah.
it's good. So, anyways,
Hey, dude,
yeah.
thanks for being
coming
in.
on.
I think we could do this like 4 or 5 more times.
All right.
Like honestly, I think it's a lot
We
here.
only scratched the surface.
That's
on
what I'm
on
saying,
stuff.
man.
Yeah. So
All
We
right.
got to do a fucking like this little like vinyl spinning show.
Well, you know what you should
started
do?
with Candy and the Gumbies.
There you go.
You know what you should do? Come back next Monday. We got John Vang from Public Nuisance and John Vang Presents. And we'll
I
fuck it up
quit.
again next week.
All right. Well, thanks.
I
guys.
All right.
quit. It's
Yeah,
over.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother. Peace. Good night.